Hi YouTube, Fifi here, with a little bit of an update. A little while ago, I made a deck profile on a pre-Legacy of Destruction, uh, Lightsworn Shadal Tearlaments list, and now that Legacy of Destruction is out, I wanted to give a little bit of an update on that list, talk about some of my cuts and stuff like that. But instead of starting with a good hand this time, I'm going to start with just the deck tech because it's way easier to start with this because then I don't have to get it ready later. So, the tier limits half the deck has not changed at all. We start with 3 copies of Rhino Heart. Trying to get this centered on the camera. And then we have 3 copies of Tearlaments Kashtira, 1 Sharon, 1 Merly, 1 Havness that you're allowed to run, 3 copies of Scream, 2 copies of Planet, 2 copies of Soliak, and 1 copy of Meta Noise as the 2 part of the deck. It's all pretty self-explanatory. The big change from last time is I'm not running any copies of Fenrir. It doesn't feel nearly as good this format. I've been playing a couple weeks with the deck now, and the face down banish doesn't feel super relevant in this format. And um that's basically it. It also clogs up the board. You need all of your zones for your optimal end board. Your optimal end board is like 3 floodgates effect and just 3 floodgate effects and 2 pieces of interaction. But when you have a Fenrir, it becomes 2 floodgates and 3 pieces of interaction, and the Fenrir interaction it doesn't necessarily feel relevant in the metagame or with what the rest of the deck is trying to do. I've thought about running 1 copy of the card, but it doesn't feel very good right now. Is what I've learned across I've only played like 15 games with the deck, but um that 15 games has left me with a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth with Fenrir. So I've decided to cut it so we could go back down to 40 cards. For the Lightsworn stuff, I'm running 3 copies of Weiss, 2 copies of Felis, 2 copies of Wolf, 3 charges of Lightgate, and 1 Lightsworn Aegis. The big reason I'm not running Lightsworn Dragonling is because I genuinely just don't have the money for them. Realistically, so and the deck with just this package of Lightsworn cards can full combo off just a Weiss and a Wolf, and there's no like ifs, ands, or buts about whether or not the deck is going to perform, because the deck has been super consistent for me. But other than that, I cut the Raiden because across 2 weeks I wasn't finding it. I cut the little Minervas because it just took up deck space and made the deck less consistent. I cut the Solar Recharge from last time because the card just kind of kept getting stuck in my hand throughout the multiple playtests. And then this pile is my random stuff for the shit all package. I have 1 Beast, 1 Squamata, 1 Hollow. I know most people only run the Beast and the Hollow or the Beast and the Squamata. I think 3 is the right number because I really want to make Winda at the end of my combo, but also Squamata and Beast can be used to make a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, to make an Abyss Dweller to show off graveyard effects from like Snake Eyes and Voiceless Voice, which is really strong right now. Speaking of shutting off graveyard effects, we have Medora and Keldo. Part of the combo may require us to use these either to get a monster and banish or to shuffle back this Nemesis corridor. And also, they're just really good versus the graveyard-based strategies. You can also use it versus 10-5 dragons if they don't make the level 10 first to get rid of their graveyard so they can't get stuff back. Speaking of Nemesis stuff, we have 1 copy of Nemesis Corridor and 1 copy of Flag. I'll explain this full combo in detail. I'm running 2 copies of King of the Swamp. Rukalos is really good this format. And I was running 1 before, but I feel like having 2 copies and just seeing it more frequently is good. Also, when I cut the Fenrirs, I was down to 39, so it's just the easiest to include. Like, my options were this or a 3rd copy of Soliak. And then for the last couple cards, we have a Terraforming to find a planet. We have a Foolish Burial Goods and Trivia Karma. This counts as like an extra copy of Terraforming, or this can send a Soliac or a Lightsworn, I guess, at the end of combo if we have a Lightsworn monster on our end board, which we don't always. And this card is so versatile. I've thought about, instead of the second King of the Swamp, the second Foolish Burial Goods, but this is what I'm testing for now. And it's been working pretty well. The only reason I didn't do good at the at an OTS tournament is because I didn't have my full extra deck. I was missing 2 cards. So my extra deck and side deck is currently out of order anyways. So for the extra deck, for RxC's monsters, I have a copy of Zombie Vampire, a copy of Infernal Flame Banshee, a copy of Time Thief Redoer, and a copy of Abyss Dweller. Part of your combo gets 2 level 8s on the field. The Lightsworn combo does, at least. And I'll explain why I'm only running 2 planets. But you get 2 level 8s on the field in the form of Visas and Minerva. I'll explain the purpose of those later. Infernal Flame Banshee sends Flag to the graveyard so you can special summon it back with Promethean Princess, but again, we'll go over all the combos later. Time Thief Redoer, just a really good generic rank 4. Sometimes you end up with a Shirin and a Wolf on the field, and you want to be able to fusion summon, and you can just get rid of those. And Abyss Dweller is one of my end board pieces to shut off graveyards, so it's overall pretty strong. For my Link monsters, I have 1 copy of Promethean Princess and 1 copy of Sprint. As part of the combo, you use Infernal Flame Banshee to send Flag to the graveyard. You special it back with Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, to add Nemesis Corridor, and then you link 2 into Sprint and send Merly. So the line to get Colossus gets you a pop, a bounce, if you have an Xyz monster on the end board, and I don't know why I'm blanking on what I was going to say. It's felt really good, and it's super consistent too. For my Link monsters, I have Minerva, the Athenian Lightsworn, and Visas Amritara. Minerva is literally your entire combo. You can play without it. I can make the good end board using only the tier half the deck. I can make the good end board using only the Lightsworn half the deck. When I have pieces of both, you're kind of immune to hand traps, and hand traps kind of do nothing to you, other than maybe like a well-timed ghost spell to get whenever you're trying to get the flag back. But most people are going to use it on the fusion summon. They have to like actively know my deck list and my combo lines, which hasn't happened yet. So I don't know if I'm just lucky or if people just don't understand what the deck is doing right now. And then for Super Poly Package, I have Dragos Tapelia, Gurura, Mudragon. Not just a Super Poly Package. You will make these most of the time as part of your combo. Like if you have to start with Merly, you hit like a Shirin, you'll make Gurura. Just to get the Merly back into your deck, which can set up a Dragos Tapelia later. The Mudragon is for making Abyss Dweller or other rank 4s, and overall it's pretty good. For our Floodgate monsters, we have the Colossus, and we have a copy of Winda. These 2 are on my end board almost every time. It's really good, and I've genuinely felt like whenever I end on these 2, it feels really hard for my opponent to play the game unless they have Droplet Imperm or something like that. But even then, it's like, cool, you burn your entire hand to deal with these, and you have to hope that you can still play through my 2 pieces of interaction, which isn't always the case. And then, for the 2 fusions, I am running 1 copy of Kaleido Heart, 1 copy of Rule Colors. Kaleido Heart is mostly a going second option. You make it to spin and pop with Planet. You can also make it as part of your main combo. You can make it pop itself, send a Scream, and add a Soliac. Rukalos, Anti-Nibiru, really good versus, like, it depends on how you judge rules it. It can be good versus IP and the Tenpai deck because you can stop a quick synchro. Can also be, it's also just real. It's good versus Flamberge. It's good versus the ritual summons from Voiceless Voice. This card is just really strong right now, which is why I'm opting to run the second King of the Swamp as my 40th card. I know people are probably thinking, why don't you run Mud King of the Swamp or Beast King of the Swamp? Because it's a level 4 and you can make 4s. And the answer is because you want to end your combo by normal summoning Rhino Heart to make Winter. Or get a Rhino Heart in the graveyard at the end. And then, unlike last time, I actually am going to show you my side deck this time. I'm bad at siding with this deck, and I just kind of like do my best, realistically. So to start off, 3 copies of D-Barrier. It's really good versus Voiceless Voice and Tenpai. You can shut off rituals, you can shut off synchros. Of course, you don't want it going second, but when you're going first, this card can and will just win you games sometimes. I have 3 copies of Supu Poly. This card is also good versus Tenpai because you can Supu Poly them when they go to Synchro Summon in the battle phase. You can get rid of both their dragons, and they can't respond to it. It's really good. But it's also it's okay versus Yubel. It's okay in a lot of matchups. There's certainly some matchups that you just want it in, and other matchups you don't. I would bring this in versus Tearlaments, because if you're playing this version of the deck and they end on Winter Colossus, that kind of hurts. So you can just Super Poly those 2 into a Dragos Stapelia of your own to shut off a Rukalos. I'm running 3 copies of Nibiru. This card is good versus a lot of decks right now. It's good versus Heroes. It's good versus Snake Eye. It's good versus Yubel. It just has a lot of interesting matchups. I'm running 2 copies of Ghost Bell. Card's really good at protecting your combo. Card's really good versus Voiceless Voice. It's okay versus Tenpai. It's decent versus Snake Eyes, but you mostly want to use it to protect against like Bystials and Called By. And then I'm running 2 copies of Lightning Storm. This is mainly for going second. If you're against like One Bad Day, you can just activate Lightning Storm, get rid of their back row. And that's also why I have the 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. So but you can also bring in Lightning Storm versus other decks when you expect to go second, because a lot of decks lost. There's no like Omni Negates in the format right now because of Baron and Savage being banned, unless you run a version of 2 that's running Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. I cut Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome because I never found myself making them in my combo, and I needed extra deck space for the Colossus line, which gave me way more than just an Omni Negate. And then for my last card, I have 1 copy of Tearlaments Crime. There's just some matchups where you need an Omni Negate, and this is a tutorable Omni Negate. You can shut off the Sangun Summoning. You can shut off like a lot of problematic points in specific decks. But you're not here to listen to me talk about like what cards can and can't do. I'm gonna do my best to get a decent hand. The deck is super consistent, but it is Tearlaments. You can just start with 5 Spell and Trap cards that aren't Planet or Charge to the Light Brigade. You kind of can't play the game from there. I'm gonna give this a really good shuffle because, you know, I just had my entire deck laid out. So my hand is Sharon, Scream, Medora, Rhino Heart, Avernus. This is not a good hand. So you activate Scream, activate Sharon, pitching the Medora, mill 3. I want to add this back off the meta noise, and this will set itself, so we might get that later. This is really bad. You know all the melee. How did I hit all my one-ups? I need to shuffle better. Get this wolf back. So that's pretty good. We'll just. I'm gonna get a different hand. I did not shuffle well enough if I'm seeing all three of my all three of my one of Q names. Sorry. I just need to. I need to do better about like keeping myself together. It would be helpful if I could edit videos, but I don't have any video editing software, so you could sit here and watch me scuff the shit out of this deck tech video. Alright, that should be good. Really found its way to my hand again. I'm gonna start with a charge the light brigade. Well, that sucks. Not a Weiss in the... A Weiss found its way to the graveyard. We're gonna add this Weiss because I don't know if I'm going to need it yet. But this does put a Rhino Heart in the graveyard for me to activate 2 cash. So we're going to activate Scream, activate Tearlaments, Cash Hero, banishing this Rhino Heart. I always do 1 Scream, 2 Tearlaments, Cash Hero, because Tearlaments, Cash Hero because you can block, you can chain block, like, and make it so you guarantee mill at least 3, because if you do chain 1, chain 2, they can go Ash this, Veilu this, and you just don't get to mill anything, and there's just sometimes when your hand sucks and your turn just stops. My hand can keep going if that would happen, but it's still better to just do chain 1, chain 2. If 2 cash gets Ashed, then it's whatever, but for the sake of just showing you what's going to happen. So this is the 2 cash mill. We get Fearless, so we do have to trigger that, and then we hit Sharon. So I'm going to add back this Rhino Heart off meta noise, use Sharon and King of the Swamp to make Rule Kalos, and then special back this Fearless. I don't like holding... I don't like normal summoning in this deck, but sometimes you just have to. Beast Squamata. I'm going to add... So... I'm going to draw a card off Beast. I'm going to add Sheeran, and I'm going to send Hell Shadal Hollow. Hell Shadal Hollow here will mill 3 cards, which is just good. If I hit a Wolf, then it's off to the races. If I hit a... I guess just Wolf, but I have 6 mills left, so... There's a Wolf. Okay, so it's off to the races. Now I can kind of show you the full combo minus normal summon Rhino Heart at the end. So here's a Wolf. Link these two into... I mean, not link these two. Make a Minerva, the Athenian Lightsworn, effect of Minerva, send Weiss, Wolf, because I drew the other Fearless. I would have to summon this here. So the Minerva comes in the extra monster zone this time. Weiss effect to special back this Fearless. Wolf goes here. link to... I'm not over a scream. I'm supposed to have a Celiac in hand. I'll just pretend I did that. Synchro summon into Visas. If you want to be stingy, I could add it off the Visas, but I'm just trying to show like what you're supposed to do. I make a lot of misplays with this deck, I'm not going to lie. From here we can banish 4 with Manova to mill 4. Gash will mill an additional 2. If we didn't add the Celiac earlier, we could add it off this screen. Overlay into Zombie Vampire. Activate Zombie Vampire. Mill, both players mill 4. Special summon the Rhino Heart. I think. Not finding the cards I need. If I summon this... No, this is so awkward. Because... How do I do this? If I summon this here, then I get to Sheeran Pitch, and then mill 3. I found... set the Lightsworn, I guess. Activate Medora. You'll have to excuse me if we're making so many fucking mistakes. Havness, Nemesis Corridor. Fearless. Link 3 into Princess effect, add special load flag effect, add corridor. Activate. I know that with Keldo, right? Yeah, activate Keldo. Targeting Merle, Sharon, and Weiss. Because Princess locks you into fires, you have to link into Sprint. Sprint effect, send Merle. I used Sharon to summon earlier, so I can still use this Merle. If I activated Planet earlier, I would be set, but I didn't. So this hand is a little bit more awkward than I needed it to be, but I'm going to use Merle and the Zombie Vampire to make a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, overlay Mud Dragon and Rhino Heart to make Abyss Dweller, then activate Nemesis Corridor, targeting Keldo, shuffle it back into the deck. My entire deck is just 2 names. And then use this to make a a Colossus. Activate planet. Do I have a tier cache left in the deck? I don't. I'm gonna add this Havness then. I just think it's good to have the planet active. I should have made it earlier. I could have popped the tier cache, but it's fine. So I have 6 cards left in my deck, and half of them are tier names. So when my opponent normal summons a monster, I get to mill 3 and make a window 2. So here's my Soliak. This Lightsworn, I guess, is not live. I have no Lightsworn cards, but yeah. So this really scuffed hand turned into Rukalos, Colossus, Abyss Dweller, Soliak, and on my opponent's normal summon, I mill 3, and I get to I get a Keldo. I get to use Merly in this to make a window, and it's just like GG lights out. You can make your silly little relinquished anima, but you make anima, I get to send this mill 2. Which negates that, and then I get to special back this Fearless, which turns on the Lightsworn Aegis. But like, if my opponent activates a monster effect, I get to activate this to send tier cache to mill 2, and this is not like a counter trap. Soliak's really weird, because it's a continuous trap, but for the most part, it's fine. But yeah, that's my updated Tearlaments list. I hope you enjoy hearing me talk about this deck. I love this deck. I think this deck has a lot of potential this format. Like, genuinely. Like, I ended the turn with 3 cards in my hand and 6 cards in my deck. Like, the deck just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Make sure you like the video, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!